Progress.
Morning, everyone. Can you guys hear me?
Morning, Doctor. Yes.
Okay. I need everybody to on their camera. Those who can, just on their camera because I'm going to be asking questions. Cameras on. I need to see your faces. How many in your class? Ada berapa orang dalam kelas?
37, Doctor.
Sorry?
37.
37 or 27?
30. 37.
Okay. Termasuk saya ke tak?
No.
Hanya sepatutnya 38 lah. Ada orang yang share device ke? Okay, the Wi-Fi in my place is a bit unstable. So if suddenly I go missing, just don't panic lah. Okay. And it's still 31. Oh well. Okay, tak apa. Let's just start. This is the how many of posting? Posting sebelum ni posting apa?
Posting surgery.
Surgery. Second posting ke?
This would be third posting. Surgery is second.
Yang pertama tu posting apa?
ONG.
Okay. So ONG lepas the child is delivered, the next day korang pergi ward tak tengok baby? Ikut houseman buat newborn check tak? Pernah terjenguk houseman buat newborn check tak?
Pernah.
Perasan tak diorang buat apa dengan baby tu?
Dia orang check dia punya physical dengan guna checklist dia.
Tengok tak checklist tu?
Tengok.
Ada apa dalam checklist tu, Hakimi?
Ada
Now ONG doesn't stop with the it doesn't stop with the mother, it also includes the baby, isn't it? Right? The ONG is the best time that you should take to see what the doctors do to the baby with the baby after the baby is born. Because before the baby goes home, the baby needs to be checked to make sure that the baby is okay before the baby can be sent home then. Right? After, when you're doing peds, you're not going to go to the obstetrics ward, isn't it? So that's why the next time you do ONG, if you're in the obstetrics ward, would take a look at the baby, and you need to check, follow around the peds. Because the next day, the peds houseman will come, right? And they will grab all the babies together, isn't it? Like, should go and busybody and at least see what they're doing to the babies, isn't it? Part of the newborn checklist also includes part of the neurodevelopmental assessment, just for the babies, because there's some things that we call what? The primitive reflex. Muhammad Alif Mursalin. Tahu tak primitive reflex tu apa? Do you know?
I only know examples there.
Example, give me one.
Palmar grasp and also planta, if I'm not mistaken.
Planta. Okay, fine. I need Sophia. Contoh je. Reflex. Okay, Farzana. Okay. What's the most important thing for a baby to ensure survival? Okay, what do babies do? Generally, there's only 3 things babies do. What?
Crying.
Feeding.
Crying. Okay, fine.
Feeding.
Feeding. Okay. So when they feed, what reflexes are involved?
sucking reflex.
Yeah, sucking reflex. What else? How do they know which side of the head to turn? Anybody know? If you stroke anybody who has a baby, when you stroke the baby's cheek, what happens?
They open their mouth.
Not quite. What else happens? How do they know to turn towards the nipple rather than turn away? When you stroke the baby's cheek, they will turn towards it, isn't it? Right? That's how they know to, okay, that's probably the nipple. That's where I get my milk. So that's the rooting reflex. Now, these are some of the reflexes that they check during the newborn check, right? So these are called primitive reflexes. Most of them will disappear by the first year of life, okay? There's certain age range, but most of them will disappear by first year of life. If they are persistent after the first year of life, then there might be a neurodevelopmental problem, okay? And other things like Moro's reflex. Anybody can tell me what Moro's reflex is? Or at least show me lah. Anybody can what gaya Moro's reflex? Anis Wahida.
Is it when we like hold the baby and we lepasin dia, it is about a body balance if I'm not mistaken.
Apa? You hold the baby then you lepaskan apa jadi?
They will the hand will be like sharp like that, terangkat.
Okay, it's not just the hands, right? So both the hands and the legs. It'll
Oh, hand and the leg.
They'll extend and then they'll flex again, right? Now, why is Moro's reflex important? In terms of ONG. What happens in big babies? Afia? If big babies lahir SVD, what can happen? Afia, I cannot see your face, right? Your border can too high. Maybe choose a different border. What happens with big babies?
Risk for shoulder dystocia.
May happen.
Yeah, shoulder dystocia. So what happens in shoulder dystocia? What's here?
Shoulder can be stuck and then can be
Sorry, tak dengar.
the shoulder can be stuck and then it can be
Okay, then
injured.
what can be injured? The shoulder itself, fine, but what else? Not shoulder, like usually the clavicle might be broken, but what else? What's more important? Why are you doing the morals?
Nerve
Huh?
nerve
What is
injury.
it? Neck injury. Specifically?
Nerve.
Sorry? Tak dengar. Fazana?
Nerve injury.
Knife. Knife.
NEIVE. Nerve.
Nerve. NERVE. What nerve injury?
Brachial
Brachioplexus.
Yeah. So if you do a morals on a newborn baby and it's incomplete, there's a possibility of brachial plexus injury, especially coupled with a history of soldier dystocia or big baby delivered vaginally. Right? Everything is connected. That's why you guys don't it's not good if you compartmentalize everything, okay? Now, who's doing the okay. Okay, let's go. 37, 3 people tak ada. Okay. Dua orang lagi tak ada. Okay, never mind. Okay, so what we're going to learn today would be developmental milestones. Okay, so basically it's a pediatric thing lah. Because you need to know whether a child is developing normally. So the developmental milestones will be divided into four categories, right? So there's gross motor. So gross motor is the obvious things: running, walking, riding a bicycle, going up and down stairs. Fine motor and vision will be things like writing. Okay. Obviously building blocks, those sort of things like using your hands. Language and hearing, social behavior and play. Okay. Now, some kids can be globally delayed, so you get delayed all across the board. Okay. Some kids can be globally delayed, but then not at the same severity of each development of each category. So let's just say they might be more delayed in the gross motor and fine motor, but their language and hearing is normal, right? Or they have delays in all sections, but their social behavior and play is more delayed compared to the rest. Okay, some kids can just be delayed in one, some kids can be delayed in like several, but not all four. Right, so just keep them in mind when you're doing a developmental delay assessment. Now, usually when we talk about milestones, there are certain things that the kids must be able to achieve at certain age. Okay, so usually to make it things easier, you pick certain age groups. So usually it's at 6 weeks. There's certain things that the kids can do at 6 weeks: 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, 18 months, and 24 months. After 2 years old, then it's yearly lah, 3 years, 4 years, and 5 years. Okay, now when you do a developmental assessment, most of the time when you are asked to guess the age, you would guess a range. So that you say the child is between 3 to 6 months old, rather than specifically 5 months old, specifically 7 months old, specifically 10 months old. Okay. Sometimes you would say things like within 3 to 6 months old, closest to 6 months old. That being said, I've seen your exam questions before where they ask, what can a 5-month-old child do? But it's better for you when you study in terms of age ranges lah. Okay. Primitive reflexes. Now, this was what I was talking about, right? So these are involuntary motor responses. They originate from the brainstem. They are present after birth. Okay, usually it's to facilitate survival. Most of them is to facilitate survival. So basically, so that the kids will survive and not die lah. Like the rooting reflex, the sucking reflex, right? Sucking reflex is there for obvious reasons. If the kid doesn't have the sucking reflex, then the kid wouldn't know that he needs to suck in order to get milk, right? Several reflexes are important to assessment of newborns and young infants. This was what I was talking about Morrow's reflex. Most of them will disappear in the first year of life. So usually there's an age range. There's like 9 months. Some goes off by 9 months. Some goes off by 6 months. Some goes off by 1 year. But all you need to remember, by first year of life should disappear. If still persists after the first year of life, then the child might have a neurodevelopmental problem. Okay, these are some of the examples. Okay, then we're gonna watch a video now. Yes. So this is rooting. Sucking. Okay. So those are some of the examples of reflexes, primitive reflexes. Now the morals, where was the morals? Okay, this is the morals. This is the correct way of doing a morals, okay? You need to support the baby's head at the back here. Right? So two hands, one behind the baby's head, both of them behind the baby's head. This hand, when you let go, this hand is further down. This hand is closer to the baby's head. When you let go, it's this hand letting go, but make sure you have a hand behind to catch the baby. Okay? Do not do it another way. Wait, I'll show you the way that's wrong. Okay, so watch this properly. Remember that this is the way you're supposed to do it, right? You support the baby's head, even though you're letting go. Okay, so extension and flexion also of the lower limbs. And then there's supposed to be a third component be crying out. That's how you do a morals. Now, I'll show you the wrong way of doing it. Now, which is the wrong way of doing the morals?
Reflexes. At birth, children have a large number of reflexive behaviors. Reflexes are automatic. Built-in reflexes. At birth, children have a large number of reflexive behaviors. Reflexes are automatic, built-in responses to stimuli. Doctors and nurses assess a newborn by testing some of these reflexes. Often, reflexes are categorized in the following ways. Behaviors to help the infant respond to the environment. For example, when you stroke a newborn's cheek, the infant will turn to the side, enabling the infant to find a nipple. Sucking and swallowing reflexes enable an infant to take in nutrients. Behaviors that contain elements of later voluntary behaviors. These include the stepping, standing, crawling, and swimmer's reflexes. If an object is placed in the palm of an infant's hand, the grasping reflex will be triggered. Primitive defensive reactions. A reflex that is typically measured
Okay,
in newborn
this
and
is the
well-baby
wrong
checkups
way
is
of
the
doing
Moro
morals,
reflex.
okay?
This newborn and well-baby checkups is the Moro reflex.
To,
A reflex that is typically
I'm going to repeat one more time. Do not do it this way.
measured in newborn and well-baby checkups is the Moro.
I'm not kidding, don't drop the baby like that, Understand, right? That is the wrong way, right? The right way is the first one. You, 2 hands. Oh, okay. 2 hands, right? One, that's mine. Yeah. Right way would be 2 hands, okay? And then when you let go, usually this hand is a bit lower, right? And then you let go like that, okay? Don't go and do what that second video did and flip like that. No, please don't. Okay, so that's the wrong way of doing it. Okay, other than that part of the video, this video is okay lah.
Oral reflex. This startle
Once
reaction
again,
is a newborn and well baby checkups.
no,
The reflex
please
that is
don't.
typically measured in newborn and well baby checkups is the moral reflex. This startle reaction is a response to a
Please do
sudden
not do this.
intense noise or movement.
Okay, always support the
When
baby.
startled, the
Hey,
newborn
never drop the
arches
baby
her
down
back,
like that.
throws back her head, and flings out her arms and legs. Then she rapidly closes her arms and legs to the center of her body. Each reflex has its own developmental course starting at different gestational ages. Some reflexes persist throughout life, such as coughing, yawning, and blinking reflexes. Other reflexes disappear, typically between 3 and 6 months. It is believed that as the development of the brain progresses, voluntary movements take over and the reflexes are suppressed. Doctors continue to assess these reflexes during routine well baby checkups to make sure that particular reflexes disappear as scheduled. This tells us that the infant's nervous system is developing normally.
Okay. So the is primitive reflexes. Okay. So usually at newborn checkup, the ones that you check for will be the rooting, the sucking, the morals, and the grass reflex lah. Okay. Now, we'll go on to developmental milestones. Now, it's easier for us to break down to what happens before 1 year of age than what happens between 1 to 5 years of age. If for exam purposes, usually if you need to do a developmental assessment, it's usually done on a kid who's less than 5 years old. Okay. After that, we're going to talk a little bit about red flags, a little bit about developmental delay, and you're going to watch videos on developmental assessments. Okay. Now, between 6 weeks to 1 year. Okay, these are the 4 categories, right? Now, it's easier for you guys to learn this way first, horizontally. You learn progression rather than you try to memorize what happens at 6 weeks, what happens at 3 months, what happens at 6 months, what happens at 9 months, what happens at 1 year. Because if you know progression, then you can kind of figure out whether you can go forwards or you need to go backwards, right? Usually the analogy I would use is like you need to learn what 2 plus 2 is before you can learn what 5 times 5 is, right? So if the child, if you already know what 5 times 5 is, most likely you already know that 5 times 5 is 5 plus 5 plus 5 5 plus 5. Understand what I mean? Okay, so usually you learn it horizontally first. Once you know it horizontally, then you memorize what age corresponds to what milestone. Okay. Also, the reason why you need to learn it horizontally, meaning progression, is because kids, not all 4 areas may develop at the same time. So some kid gross motor may be about 1 year. Fine motor might be about 1 year, but language and hearing might be only about 3 months. Social might be only about 3 months, right? So if you memorize it downwards, vertically, like 3 months can do this, and do this, it's very difficult for you to place the child because their milestones are all okay. So you learn progression. Now, if it's gross motor, what happens is common sense would tell you what? Before you can stand, before you can sit, you must first have head control. Then only your body will be, the baby's body will become stronger. So they have, they are able to control their torso. Then only they can sit. Then only they can bear weight. Then only they can walk, right? So gross motor will be, that's why they say it's a head to toe order. Okay. So at 6 weeks, usually movements are symmetrical. The baby is able to hold the head up, but it's unsteady. Then later at 3 months, they can lift their hands and shoulders off the floor. Right? That means if you lie them flat in a prone position, they can push themselves up a little bit. Okay. Pull to sit, little to no head lag. So pull to sit is when you pull them up from their upper arm, and then you look at the way their head is moving. So at 3 months, they should able to resist gravity a bit, so their head will be going up a little bit. So it'll be this, right? So gross motor, head to toe. First will be your head control. Okay. And then will be the body will be stronger, right? So they can sit. Then after that, they'll be able to bear weight. So bear weight is when you put them straight, you hold them up by their forearm, by their upper arms or forearms. And then you put their legs on a flat surface, you can feel that they are starting to hold their weight. Understand not? Then they'll start to pull themselves out, then meniti, then they need to walk, right? So when they're talking about assessing head control, what you do is you hold the upper arms and then you pull them, right? Pull them upwards. So at 3 months, instead of flopping down with gravity, they're starting to get a little bit of head control. So when you pull them up, the head will come up a little bit. Understand not? Okay. Okay. 6 months head control is complete. They sit with a support with a rounded back. Okay, and they are able to bear weight. This is what I was saying. You hold them up by their upper arms and then you put their legs on the flat surface. It seems like they can hold themselves up on their legs. Okay, that's bearing weight. 9 months sit unsupported in a tripod position. Tripod position is when the lower limbs are in a triangular position, right? So your thighs will be extended and then the knees will be bent, will be flexed. So it's a tripod. A 1 year walking begins the pull to stand. Okay. Fine motor and vision goes together. At 6 weeks, they fix and follow. So usually what you have in your developmental kit, you have your red color fluff of ball there, right? So you wave it in front of their face slowly and then to track it about 90 degrees. Okay. 3 months, they own hands. That means they realize they have hands. So it's like, I got hands. Then they start looking at their hands. They reach out and they grasp. And then when they grasp things, they have a palmar grasp. Okay. Palmar grasp would be when you, later I'll show you. 6 months, palmar grasp and transferring meaning from they hold something on the right hand, then they can move it to the left hand, right? Usually transferring, they say about 7 months. So if they can do transferring, then you know the kid is at least 6 months old. Okay, 9 months pincer. Pincer is when you can hold small things between your thumb and the forefinger. At 1 year, it's a mature pincer, so it's here rather than like that. Object permanence. Object permanence is when they can track an object. So it's like if a toy falls to the ground, they'll look for the toy falling. They look at the toy falling to the ground and they will realize, hey, the toy is on the ground. Or if you take the toy and you hide it in front of them, you hide it under a blanket, they will select the blanket and then you look for the toy. Okay. Pointing, they can make marks on paper. Language at 6 weeks, they still or calm sound. 3 months squeal. 6 months turns to sound. Loud noise, that means it turns to sound, right? Startles to noise, babbles. At 9 months, you can do a distraction test. So, okay, at 9 months, understands no. Why I didn't put the 9 months at 9 months? At 1 year, first words, response to name and points. Okay, first words is meaning. That means Papa is actually Papa, not any random stranger. Mama is actually the mother, not simply calling everybody Mama. Okay, socially, 6 weeks is smile. 6 months laugh, feel, 7 months roughly there's stranger anxiety, stranger anxiety. Okay, wave. And 1 year peekaboo, drink from a cup, put objects in mouth. Okay. Let me see whether anybody knows what a distraction test is. Audi Nadira. Do you know what a distraction test is? Yes or no?
No.
Oh, ENT is 4th year, right? Emmeline, Afisa, Emmeline.
Yes,
Do you know what a distraction test is?
I don't know that thing.
Okay, roughly between, if the child is roughly about 7, 8, 9 months, 7 to 9 months old, you can do a distraction test. It's just grossly, okay, first things first, a newborn baby who's born in the hospital, before they are discharged, okay, all of them will get a hearing assessment. Okay, so that's a baby, newborn baby lah, right? Just in case they were missed, all right, at between 7 to 9 months old, you can do a distraction test. A distraction test is to see grossly whether the child's hearing is intact lah. Okay, it's a very rough type of assessment lah, right? It's not very specific, but basically what happens is that there's 2 people. The person who is examining the child needs to stand in front of the child. Okay, so the person who's examining the child, this is a person, okay, will be in front of the child. Okay, another person will be behind. Okay, let me see whether it's as YouTube. Now, the person behind will hold a rattle. Okay, so they either shake the rattle on the right side or on the left side. Okay, the person in front would look for the response. So if there's a rattle, the sound is there. The baby may not turn the head. The baby might just like glance towards the right. That is also considered positive response. So the person in front needs to see whether the baby responds to the sound or not. Okay, let's see whether there's whether I have a video somewhere. I don't think so. Yeah, let me see. Okay, let's see. Obviously, in the ward, you cannot close the door and not, but roughly, you should ensure at least it's not, the environment is quite quiet, okay, if you're gonna do it.
Hello, my name's Misha. Can I ask your name? Mahmood. Hi Mahmood. And what's your child's name?
Now, the reason why the person with the rattle is behind is because if you stand right next to it, the baby might see rather than here. All right. So what you're testing now is hearing, not vision. This
Aisha.
one needs to be behind.
Aisha. We're going to test Aisha's hearing today. And during the test, stand
Okay.
behind you
Introduce
for
that.
fear to make a noise. Throughout the test, please could you stay still and silent? Is that okay? Yes. Hello, Aisha.
The person in front usually is playing with the baby lah, right? That's why it's called a distraction test. You're trying to distract the baby from whatever is happening in front lah. Right? It can just be a subtle eye glance,
Well done, Aisha.
not
Well
quite the
done.
whole head turning.
Look at these. Well done, Aisha. Really good. Well done.
So roughly that's it lah. Okay. When you guys do your ENT posting in fourth year, right? If you have free time, ask whether you can sit in when you're doing a hearing assessment for a child who gets referred for speech delay. Right? They do it in UIA, I know. Okay. The ENT portion of the speech therapist, because UIA has the ENT portion and they have the pediatric portion, right? Anyway, when you're in fourth year, go and sit in. Okay? Okay. Okay, so that's the before 1 year of age. And we go to 18 months to 5 years. So 18 months, at 18 months walking is accomplished. So any kid that cannot walk unsupported by 18 months needs assessment for the developmental delay lah. So 18 months must be able to walk. So that's one of the developmental milestones that must be achieved lah. So 2 years more advanced, they can run, they can jump. So run, jump with 2 feet. 3 years, climbs the stairs, can ride a tricycle. So tricycle got 3 wheels, 3 years old, right? 4 years hops on 1 foot. 5 years skips and jump over small obstacles. Now, after 18 months, the fine motor usually involves, when you're doing an assessment, usually involves either blocks, both blocks, and also pens, writing, okay? So usually what happens at 18 months, they start off with scribbling. So scribbling, they would just hold and scribble. Okay, back and forth scribble in immature grip. And then after that, they'll start to doodle more, okay? And then after that, then only they'll be able to do shapes. Now, this is why it's important for you to remember progression, because you just remember that it's a straight line first, then it's a circle, then it's a cross, then it's a square, then it's a triangle, and finally a diamond. So if the child can already draw a square when you're doing a developmental assessment, by right, the kid should have already been able to do a cross and a circle and a straight line down. All right. So let's just say we tell you that the child is 4 years old. Okay. And the child, when you're doing, the child can do a circle, then you immediately know that, okay, I'm supposed to go up. So go up along the table, developmental table would be doing a cross and doing a square. All right. So that is scribbling. So then after that you do blocks, right? So blocks will be your 3 times table, multiples of 3 in completed years. That's how you remember lah. 3, 6, 9, right? So in completed years, 18 months should be tower of 3. In 2 years, will be tower of 6. In 3 years, will be tower of 9. Then at 3 years, they're supposed to be able to do a bridge. At 4 years, will be a 6 block steps. And at 5 years, will be 10 block steps. So this is the bridge, right? The one at 3 years. Make sure there's a gap at the bottom. Okay, so this will be a 6 block steps, this will be a 9 block steps. Okay, this is drawing, this is how they hold. So first at 18 months it will be palmar grip, and then it will be extended fingers, then it will be dynamic tripod. Dynamic tripod usually around 5 to 6 years, but nowadays kids tend to achieve it slightly earlier because they go to school earlier. Okay, if you do wait, okay, if you do, when you do the circle, usually what you do is, okay, first thing is the kids 1.5 years old, they hold the pen like that, right? Then they hold it like that. Then finally this is about 5 years old, right? Okay. Now what you do is you do draw a straight line and then cover it up, and then you will do one. Okay. If you cover it up and you cannot do, then you just leave it there and ask them to copy. Okay. Copying and being able to remember, then pull from memory and draw this is 2 different higher functions. Okay. But what you're testing now is not higher function lah. What you're testing is actually fine motor lah. But I'm just telling you that it's 2 different things lah. Okay. So first thing is that you try like that, and then you cover it up and ask them to draw back. Right? If they cannot draw back from memory, then you do leave it there and then they'll draw back. Okay. A circle. A circle needs, the 2 ends of the circle needs to meet in order for it to be considered a circle. Right? So what you would mean would be this. That means, okay. So you would draw. Okay. So this would be a circle, right? Sorry, my mouse. Okay. What's happening? Oh. Okay. If the child does this, not the 2 ends don't meet, not considered a circle. Right? This one also not. Okay. The 2 ends must meet. Okay. So that's for circle. Then next we go to language and hearing. 18 months, 6 to 20, word vocab, follow simple instructions. At 2 years, 2 word sentences, 2 out of 4 speech understandable. This is basically just for you to remember. So basically, speech is 50% understandable to the parents. Okay. So 3 years will be 3/4 of the speech understandable, counts to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is rote learning. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right? It's not you showing them 4 fingers and then they can immediately say 4. No, they can 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. On, in, and under. This is prepositions. Yeah, progression. So you learn on, in, and under. So kids usually learn on, in, under, in front, behind, then only they learn between. Okay. Colors also, what happens is that usually they learn primary colors first. So the red, the blue, and the yellow. Then only the secondary colors, the orange, the purples, and the green. Finally, at 5 years old, then black and white. But also that being said, because kids get sent to kindergarten very much earlier, most of the time they learn their colors quite early lah. Not only kindergarten, they watch a lot of YouTube videos, isn't it? So most of the time they will learn their colors early. But left to their own devices, what happens is that they learn the primary colors first: red, yellow, blue, then orange, green, purple, then black and white. So when you're testing a younger child, you start off with the primary colors first, the red and yellow and the blue. Okay. When you're testing prepositions also it's like this. If the child is 5 years old, you expect them to know in front, between, and behind. But if they don't, then you know to go downwards to test whether they know on, in, and under. But if the child is 3 years old, can already do in front, between, and behind, the assumption is he can already do on, in, and under. You understand not? Right? This is why I asked you guys to learn progression first. Socially, 18 months, spoon feeding, mimic housework. 3 years, start toilet training, remove scales, parallel play. Parallel play means they play next to another kid. They don't necessarily play with the other kid. Okay, like if they're playing Lego, right? They're off on themselves by the side. They build their own Lego block. The other kid will build their own Lego block beside. They won't like mix together and say, hey, here, let's put the Lego here, let's put the Lego here, and do something together. Okay, 3 years share. Now they share, then make believe play. So kind of like you can substitute things. Kids on the autism spectrum might have a little bit of problem. What I mean by substitution is that, do I have a car here? Oh, I do. Kids on the autism spectrum are very literal. Literal, do you guys know what literal means or not? Literal meaning A is A, B is B, black is black, white is white, right? Okay, so car is car, right? Car, vroom, 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 vroom. Okay, once the child gets older, roughly about 3 years old, no car, never mind, I can use this as a car. Understand? So vroom, 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 still playing lah, right? Kids on the spectrum have a problem thinking that this is a car, right? Because obviously this is not a car. Understand not? So that's being literal. Okay. Kids on the spectrum are part of their behavioral therapy. They are taught to substitute, right? So it's play therapy. First you play with this, and then they are taught that, look, this is also this can also represent a car, right? That is part of their therapy lah. But anyway, so that's what you mean by substitution. Car, also car, right? Make do lah. Oh, so that's about 3 years old, 3 to 4 years old. Okay, make believe play. Now, toilet training by 2 years old should be dry by day. 3 years old should be dry by night. But don't be surprised if a lot of kids nowadays are not dry by night by 3 years old, because sometimes toilet training, in addition to the kids' internal alarms, is also a skill that needs to be taught. So if the parents are not training the child, sometimes toilet training might be slightly delayed. Okay, but by 2 years old, they should be able to tell you, look, my diapers is wet, I need a change, right? They should be able to tell you that I need to pee. So that's 2 years old. Okay. So those are the milestones. We'll go on to red flags. Now, a red flag is if a child doesn't do something by a certain time, then he or she will need evaluation. It includes plateauing and regression. Now, plateauing meaning that the child is able to do something, and then after that doesn't develop any longer. So maybe the child can speak two words with meaning, and subsequently never develop, never go on to speaking in sentences. So that's plateauing. Regression would be if the child has already knows how to do something, and then suddenly stops doing it. So maybe the child has already learned how to walk and run. Then after a while, the child starts to not walk and not run, only sits around all the time. So that's regression. Okay. Oh, my pointer is there. So plateauing, can you guys see the pointer?
Yes.
Anyway, so plateauing would be this, right? Regression would be this. Okay. How do I delete the annotating? Haha. Well, just ignore the red spots there. Now, red flags at birth. One would be an asymmetric Morse reflex and a failed hearing assessment. Okay, if at 3 months, if there's no head control, no smile. So basically, these are all the things that you should watch out for. If the kid doesn't have any of this or has any of this at a certain age, then the child needs a referral to see a pediatrician for developmental assessment. Okay, at 6 months, if the primitive reflexes are still present, that's a red flag. If the child is still fisting, if the child has a hand preference doesn't happen until 18 to 2 years of age, right? So if before that age, before 18 months, the child already preferentially prefers the right or preferentially prefers the left, right? That might indicate that there's something going on neurologically. Okay, maybe the child had a neonatal stroke or something like that. Okay. Let's see whether the annotation went missing. Oh, let's see if it's still there. Okay, it's gone. At 9 months, if the child's not weight bearing, that's a red flag. At 12 months, it's not sitting, there's no words. At 18 months, if the child is not walking, the child is still mouthing or drooling. Maybe I should fix that. At 24 months, if there's less than 5 words and the child is not interactive. At 36 months, if the child is not interactive with 2-word phrases. At 5 years, usually they will present with school problems. So this is when you get things like dysgraphia, dyscalculia, dyslexia. Okay, these are just a list of causes of developmental delay that you guys should know. Okay, causes of both isolated and global developmental delay. So things like abuse can cause developmental delay. Usually it's a global thing. Malnutrition. Cerebral palsy is mainly a gross motor disorder. It's a gross motor disorder. So this child might be delayed in the gross motor aspects of it, delayed walking, delayed running, but higher function is normal. Lots of children with cerebral palsy actually have normal intelligence. The only thing is because when you guys go to the ward, your views are a bit skewed because the ones that get admitted to the wards are the ones on the severe end. The ones with severe cerebral palsy who's dependent on Rouse tube feeding or has severe contractures, right? But by and large, most children with cerebral palsy intellectually are normal. Never forget that. Okay. Kids with IEM, inherited disorders, Duchenne's muscular dystrophy, they have gross motor and also intellectual disability. SMA, gross motor will be delayed, fine motor slightly delayed, speech, language, and social will be normal. Syndromes, things like trisomy 21, which is Down syndrome, structural abnormality of brain. Slow school progress might indicate a hearing or visual impairment or specific learning difficulties. Kids with poor social skills might have autism, might have ADHD. Okay. Now, if you do a developmental assessment, first thing is the aim is to determine whether their developmental age is appropriate, their developmental milestones are appropriate for age. Okay. Kids being kids, you need to learn how to go with the flow. So this involves you playing more with the kids, but playing in playing with purpose, like when you're building blocks, right? It's considered playing, but you must always remember your aim is to make sure whether the kid can actually build a tower of 9, can actually build in between playing, can the child build a bridge or the 6 block steps. Okay. Also, you need to remember that all skills overlap. So if you're testing like fine motor, you have to remember that it's also vision, right? The child needs to be able to look at the block. It's also speech and language, because the child needs to be able to understand your commands. All right. Now, developmental assess. Oops. Oh no. Okay, never mind. I had a playlist all missing. It's okay. Let's go to the YouTube. So developmental assessment, the important thing is that you guys need to play with the kids, be flexible and practice. You cannot expect to be good at it the first time round. Okay, so we're gonna watch a bunch of videos on developmental assessment, and I need. What happened to my playlist? Okay, never mind. I think what happened was I cut and I pasted on the previous class. Okay, let's see. Never mind. Let's go to YouTube then. Wait, on development presentation. Okay. Okay. Not this one. Okay.
Hello Katerina, my name's Emma. I'm one of the doctors. Is this your mum that you've got with you behind you? Is that your mum? Is it okay with you if we have a look at Katerina's development and just do some playing? What have you got in your book? That's very good.
Who's in your book, Katerina?
Who's that? You don't know? No, it's a girl though, isn't it? And you can see what's on the next page. Good.
Oh yeah,
Turn those
before
pages
we
very
go on,
nicely.
just want to remind you guys that when they say good or when they say great job, sometimes the kid didn't do it. It's just kind of like an encouragement kind of thing. Okay.
What about some colours? Can you tell me that colour? Ah, did you say green? Well done. What can you see in this picture? Don't know. Okay. What colour's that one? Blue. Well done. Let's see what's on the next page. Good girl. Okay. And I think this is a monkey. Do you think it's a monkey? No. What colour's that one? Red. Red. Okay. Good girl. What can you see now? What's this one?
Green.
It's green. And what kind of animal is it?
I don't know.
You don't know. I think it might be a frog. Can you see the frog on this page?
Yes.
Yes. Well done. Good girl. That was very good. Well then, we're nearly at the end. Can you see the frog on these pages?
Yeah.
Well done. And can you see any other animals? Do you know what this one is?
No.
Well done. You're good with your animals, aren't you? Where's the snake on this page?
Yeah.
Good girl. Well done. What colour is this t-shirt?
Pink.
Yes, well done. Do you know what this thing is?
Yes, red.
It's red, yes, you're right. Good. Do you think, Katerina, you could give the book to Mummy? Could you show me giving the book to Mummy and then we'll have a look at this one?
No.
Yeah, you give this book to Mummy? Okay, you don't have
Can you
to,
give me the
that's
book?
Okay.
No.
Why not? I'm interested in playing with other stuff. You give me the book.
fine. Actually,
Okay. Now this part, she's actually trying to assess receptive speech, right? Can you give this book to me, right? So when you're assessing receptive speech, make sure you don't give visual cues. Visual cues meaning, can you give this book to Mommy? Faham tak? That's why you notice that the candidate kept her hands together, right? Except she pointed at the book lah, yes. But other than that, she tried to keep her hands together, because if you do visual cues, that is not testing receptive language. That is also giving visual cues. Faham tak? Right? Then later on, when the mother did this, can you give the book to Mommy? The mother is actually giving a visual cue, but obviously the mother is not the candidate, isn't it? Right? So if the mother tried to help you by giving the child a visual cue, you need to test it again just verbally. Do something else just verbally. Faham tak? Right? Like in that case, the mother tried to be helpful, right? So the mother put out the hand, can you give it to me, right? Right? That's a visual thing. So if the mother did that, so you need to, if you still want to test it, then you need to give the child another thing to do lah. Right? Turn this page. Or put this on the chair. Right? Okay. Never mind, when you guys have bedside teaching with me, ada tak bedside teaching? Kemudian. Patutnya ada kan? Remind me to show you how to test colors. Remind me to show you how to test colors so that there isn't a bias when the child's picking it. Okay? Remind me later lah.
we've got some really exciting things in the bag. Can you give the book to Mummy? Okay.
Go on, Katerina.
Katerina, I've got some bricks I'd like to show you. What do you do with those? Have you ever seen those before? I'll show you what we can do. We can make a really big tower. We'll get some more. Ah, you've seen my string. Okay, what can you do with that?
Also, make sure when you have one toy, you keep the other toys far away so that the kid doesn't get distracted. But if the kid does get distracted, and then go with the flow lah. If the kid wants to do this first, then you do this first one. Okay?
Okay, so I can see that you can hold that.
Insist on taking this away and doing only this, you upset the kid.
Very well. Good girl. Oh, and you wish we had some beads. You might have seen some beads. Well, no, look, Katerina, we can make a really big tower. Can you do one of those? Oops. I have to start again. What can you make with those? Oh, have you done a bridge before? That's a little bit like a bridge. Should we try just a tower first? Let's see. Ooh, very good. That's very good. Katerina, can I show you something with these? Can you make them so they've got a little gap in like that, so that we can have a train? It goes choo 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 choo. You can go through the bridge. Can you make one like that? Yeah, it's very similar to your other ones, but we need a little gap so the train can go through the bridge. Oh, you can't get through. That's it. Oh, nearly. Good girl. Need a little gap for the train. Well done. Okay, that's very good. And I'll show you one more thing and we'll see. Ooh, okay, what would you like to do? That's really nearly a bridge for our train, isn't it? Can you make a gap for the train? Make a gap for my train. Okay. Good. I'm going to show you one other thing with my bricks and then we'll do some crayons. Okay, I can see you've got your eye on the crayons. Oh, wait a second. Look, if you take that one away. Okay. Okay, and we can see how tall can you make that then? Maybe we could borrow these ones and you could put those on top of the other ones. Good. Make it really tall this side. Well done. What about if you borrow some of these and you can make an even taller one here? Put that one on top. Good. Well done. Try another one. Well done. That's 9, isn't it? That's 10. Oh my goodness, that's 11 bricks. Well done. Do you want to knock it all down? Oh, come. Well done. That was a very, very good tower. Okay. Katerina, can you do some drawing? You're going to show me what you can do. I'll take the bricks away and tidy them up for you. You're going to show me what you can do with this. Thank you. Good girl. Ooh. Very nice. Good girl. And what about, can you do one like this? Scribble like that. It's harder for you, don't we? Okay. Katerina, that'd be better. Thank you. Katerina, can you copy that one for me? Can you show me that one? Well done. And then what about this one? See that one? Can you copy that one? Good girl. Okay. Then we'll do one more. I think really. Can you copy that one? You can use that colour if you want.
Can't do it.
No, that's a bit of a light colour, I think. What about this one?
Okay. That's too hard.
Too
Too hard. Okay. Can you copy that one for me? Can you have a go at that one? Not these ones, this one. Okay. Good. Well done. That's fine. You did really well. That was really good. Now, Katerina, I think you can probably run around quite a lot. Do you think you could show me some running and jumping? Show me some walking to start with. Shall we do it together?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, good. Like her, we can do like she is.
Yeah.
Can you show your jumping? Can
Maybe.
you show your jumping?
Oh my goodness, jumping already. That's brilliant. That is excellent jumping. Okay, good. And now, that's sitting down. What about standing on one foot, Katerina? Like this. You do this, just in one place. Good girl. Well done. And can you do the other side?
Yeah.
I won't let you fall over, don't worry. You just stand on this leg. Ooh. You have another go. Don't kick mummy. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this crayon. You've done it for me already. Well, I wanted to see you bend down and pick something up, so that was brilliant. Now, can you give the snail to mummy? You could give that. Good girl. And now.
Mummy,
Yeah.
this got holes.
It's got holes. What do you think the holes are for?
The whole thing.
They're for string, aren't they?
Oh, hang on. You could show us that if you want to try putting the string through. I didn't realise that. This is quite tricky, isn't it? Choose one and then see what you can do. Well done. Ooh. You can put it back through another. Ooh. Maybe if we tie a knot in the end for you, that will help. Oh, can you tie knots? It's a bit hard, isn't it? There you go. Why don't you try again putting that end through the hole? Perhaps while she's doing that, I could ask you some questions. So in terms of Katerina's feeding, what kind of things will she do with eating? Will she feed herself?
She feeds herself with a fork.
A fork, okay, great. And does she use a knife at all or not yet? Okay, and in terms of nappies, is she dry during the day?
She's dry day and night.
And nights, okay, brilliant. And when she's around other children, how does she tend to interact with them?
Nicely. She shares and she's quite...
Easy.
She plays with them.
Okay, so with them. And do you ever see her pretending to be things? So
Yes.
imagining to be a princess, for example?
Yes.
She will do that, okay. And I've obviously heard a little bit of her speech today. It sounds like she's probably got quite a few words that I haven't heard. Are you able to estimate at all how many words that she will use?
Well, definitely more than 100. I'd say maybe a couple of hundred, and she's putting words of 4 or 5 words together in a sentence.
Okay, brilliant. And have you ever had any concerns about her vision or hearing?
No.
And did she pass her baby hearing test in the
She did.
hospital?
She was quite slow to speak, so 1.5.
Look at this one.
Look at that.
Okay, so this is a good example. Okay. Now, the younger you are, the younger the child is, the less you have to do. Like here. Sometimes you get babies who are premature, right? So you're supposed to see just the ONG, right? Now, if you get babies who are premature up to 2 years, your assessment would be based on corrected age. You guys know the difference between corrected age and chronological age? Baru lepas ONG lah, weh. Siapa yang tak pernah panggil lagi? Faralin, do you know what the chronological age is?
No, doctor.
Okay, what does chronology mean?
It's
Literal
by-
English Malay word. Huh?
It's like by a story. Like
Okay,
sequence.
in terms of time,
Time, that means like what 1, 2,
it
3,
follows
like
lah, isn't it?
yes, the sequence.
It follows lah. Okay, so chronological age is the age the child is based on his birth date, right? So if the child was born on the 1st of January, now it's end of March, right? So the child is 3 months old. Okay, so that's chronological age. Corrected age would be in terms of premature babies, okay, what the child's real age would be if the child was actually born on his EDD at 38 weeks lah, estimated delivery date. I know EDD is 40 weeks lah, but really term is 38 weeks, isn't it? Right? But usually when we count, we base it on EDD lah, just roughly lah, right? So if the child is 34 weeker, 32 weeker, okay, 32 weeker easier. If the child is 32 weeker, so the child is 2 months early, right? So if his chronological age is 3 months, his corrected age would be 1 month. Faham tak? So up to corrected age of 2 years old, your developmental assessment would be based on the corrected age. Right? So if the child is 6 months, his corrected age is 4 months. Okay? So your developmental milestones should be appropriate for a baby who is 4 months old, not 6 months old. Faham tak? Right? This goes all the way up to the age of 2 years old lah. After 2 years old, then you just continue 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right? So if the child is a 28 weeker, right? So that's 12 weeks early, isn't it? Right? So that's 3 months early. So if the child is 15 months old, right? So his corrected age would be just 12 months lah, 1 year old. So his developmental milestones, to know whether he's appropriate for age or not, would correspond to the 1 year old developmental milestones. Understand not? All right. So if the child is chronologically 6 months old, but developmentally only 3 months old, you must always make sure you ask the mom whether the child was born prematurely. Right? If the child was born prematurely, then you need to ask the mother how premature lah. If it's a lay person, then 1 month, 2 months, 3 months lah, isn't it? Right? If you can get her EDD, then you can figure it out by yourself lah. Right? So if the child is 6 months old, corrected age is 3 months old, you base whether he's developmentally appropriate for age or not is based on his 3 months old, not the 6 months old. Okay. So that would be this one.
Okay, Lara, welcome to your developmental assessment. This is Raphael, and I'd like you to examine all 4 domains of his development, please. Okay.
Hello, my name's Lara. I'm one of the doctors. Is it all right to examine Raphael's development today? Can we actually just pop him down here and try and sit, just because we've got a few toys and things to play with? Hello. Hello. Hey. Is he able to sit if you support him? Yeah. Yeah, should we do that? Do you want to? Hello. Come on, Mr. Cousin. Oh, actually, no, just while he's there, we'll have a look. Have a look. Hello. Well done. Well done. With that smile. Clever. You are a very clever boy, aren't you? Yes. Yes, you are. That's very clever indeed. Now then, yeah, would you like to sit him up with support? That would be great. Can I sit where you are? Yeah, shall we swap sides? That's okay, fine. Does he roll?
Yeah, he was.
He does roll.
But do you want to say that first?
Not necessarily, that's absolutely fine.
And he's going from his back to his side as well.
Okay. That's it. Yeah, so if you sit him up, I just want to see what he's like playing with these. Okay. Now then. What's this? Would you mind just turning him so he's facing me? Thank you. What's this? What's this? Are you? Would you like to hold that? No. Well, what about this? This one might be a bit big, I think. This child is not actually reaching out, right? So if you're talking about a 3 to 4 month old who's reaching out, they would actually do that. Okay? Or you have a toy in front of them, they would try to, right? So whenever you read, the other thing is that when you give a child a toy, make sure you're far enough that the child actually has to reach out, not like dekat macam ni. I mean, no point lah, right? Isn't it? Right? You need to be far enough that the child needs to reach out. Faham tak? Right? Now, the thing with this video is that the mother will say that the child can transfer, the mother will say that the child can grab things, but it's actually not demonstrated that the child can. Right? You can already see when the candidate was holding the rattle in front of the baby, by right, a 4-month-old should be reaching out like that, but the child is not doing it, right? So based on assessment, the child is not yet 3 months old, just based on fine motor. Okay.
I know. Would you like to hold these for me?
Touching lah.
What's this? You're looking, aren't you? Yes.
It's your dress.
Do you think the patterns?
The black and white.
Okay. No?
It's not bothered with hers, really.
How about this? Is that easier for you to hold? What's this? What's this? Okay. All right. Now then. Hey. What's that? Lovely. Okay. Let me just stand you up. Let's just see what you do. Let's have a look at your toe. Yes. You step on me. Well done. Oh, well done. That's really good. Really good. Now I'm going to do tummy time now. Let's have a look that way. That's a lovely head control, isn't it? That's all right. Does he like being on his tongue?
Yeah, he loves
I'll
it.
just move these out the way. Let's have a look. Now then, let's pop you this way. You know, some tummy time. Put your arms out for me. Yes.
Come on, over you go.
Fantastic.
He's trying to go over.
He's got nice head control there, and he's weight control on his forearms. Are you going to do a roll for us? Maybe.
Got too much clothes on.
That's
I'm
all
gonna do it.
right.
He's just in a baby dress.
Oh. Hey. Should we go back? Hey, should we go back to Mum? That's fine. You want to pick him up and bring him back? Lovely.
Big boy, he did well.
Okay.
Do you want to see his tummy time? If I strip him down, he can do it.
No, that's absolutely fine. Just a couple of questions for you. Have you had any concerns about his vision or hearing at all?
No.
No. And was he born early?
Yes,
or?
11 weeks early.
Okay. All right.
And they AOK'd his eyes and his ears. And
Good. So he's had
MRI.
all the checks and everything. Perfect.
11 weeks early is roughly about 3 months early, isn't it? Right?
Perfect.
He's just
Okay.
not really interested in toys, he's interested in people.
Yeah. No, that's fine. Do you see him pick objects up?
Yeah,
when
he
you're
was
at
just
home?
sitting in the pram
Yeah.
playing with that thing. He holds his, I've got a little set of keys.
And he
Plastic
likes
keys,
that.
he likes those.
Yeah.
He
Okay.
grabs toys all the time actually. But
Good.
if he's around new people,
Yeah. No,
He's
that's fine.
really
He's not
interested
just
in
not very
people.
interested in these ones, are you? What's this? Hey, what's this?
isn't it?
You want to show us? Have you seen him pass objects from side to side yet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bigger ones than that though.
Yeah. That's
And two
right.
hands.
Oh, Hannah might be going to bring us some extra. There
This
we
he
go.
loves.
Do you like? Should we play
This
with
he
this? You show me.
Shall I lay him down and do it? Or
Yeah.
sitting up?
Yeah, whatever you think is.
When he's sitting up, he's concentrating on sitting. It's that dress. I've got black and white toys.
I'm glad you like my dress.
Fantastic.
Fantastic. So he's lovely and awake and alert, and he's smiling well, not yet showing any strange or anxiety from a social point of view. Yes, that's fantastic. And from a fine motor point of view, Mum report. Oh, you're feeling right. He's got a nice grasp of my finger there. It's a palmar grasp. Yes. Yes. So that would put him at 3 to 4 months. By 6 months, I'd want to see him transferring. I haven't yet seen that today. No.
By 6 months, you wanted to see him transferring objects from side to
So I'm
side.
talking about, yeah, so when you mentioned that he can do that, so that's something that we would see at around about 6 months.
Right, okay.
Obviously a little bit more complicated because he was born early. So as you know, we would correct for that.
So really,
Yes.
it's 3 months.
So, so actually that's a question I don't know if I'm allowed to ask. How old he is. How old is he actually now in terms of his birthday?
In terms of when he was born, he's
Yes.
5 months.
So he's 5 months.
He was
But he
born
will
on
be-
December the 27th, he was due on the 30th of March.
Perfect. Okay.
So he's more like 3 months.
In the terms of corrected, yeah. So at that age, really, we'd expect them to be showing the palmar grasp, which you saw,
Yeah.
and then picking up objects, but not necessarily passing them across.
Okay.
So that's really good if he's doing that. And again, that would be consistent with that he's rolling, but not sitting
yet independently because too soon for that.
He did for 9 seconds the other day.
Lovely, and he's got a lovely fix and follow, and he's responding to sound. I don't think there's anything else that I would need to do at the moment. So today I've examined Rafi. I'm looking at his development. He looks well grown but I like to plot him on a growth chart for his head circumference, length and weight. Mum reports that he is currently 5 months of age, but he was born 11 weeks early. So he's around about 3 months, 3 months corrected. From a gross motor point of view, he cannot yet sit independently, but does sit with support. He's able to roll, and he has good head control. So that would put him at around the age of 3 to 4 months. By 6 months, I would like to see him perhaps sitting without support. From a fine motor point of view, he fixes and follows well, and he has a good palmar grasp. Mum reports actually that he does transfer, so that would put him at around 6 months. We haven't demonstrated that today, so based on what I've seen today, he would be at around the age of 3 to 4 months. From a social point of view, he smiles beautifully, and he doesn't yet display stranger anxiety. So again, that would be consistent with the same developmental age. And from a hearing and language point of view, he responds to sound, turning his head appropriately, and makes cooing noises, which again would be consistent with a developmental age of around 3 to 4 months. So he's behaving exactly and appropriately as I would expect.
Okay. Okay. Anyway, you want links for videos? Yes. There are lots more videos there. I mean, you saw my playlist there, right? You can just look it up. But anyway, just to recap. So this is basically the table that you're supposed to know lah. Okay. Read this way, memorize this way first before you memorize this way. Okay. You need to play with the kids in the ward a bit more often, and then just practice as you get better. Do those kids young, like they're close to discharge already, happy quite well already, right? Do the developmental assessment on them. Don't wait until you find a child who's delayed developmentally to do a developmental assessment. You need to know what's normal first before you can identify what's abnormal, right? So those kids yang dekat-dekat nak balik dah kan, there's discharge, right? 2, 3 years old, happy running around the ward. Just grab them and play with them and see what's normal, right? And play, like I said, play in a systematic manner lah. So if they are 2 years old, 3 years old, those are the ages that you can do the blocks and the scribbling the most, right? That's all lah. Let's see. I think what happened was the previous group instead of copying, I cut, I think, and pasted the whole playlist there. So anyway, give me a second. I'll get more videos for you to watch. Maybe I can collect one and then just send the Maybe I can collect a list and just send it to you guys. If not, my list, I have to, well, that's one. My playlist is private. Yes. Anyway, that's one. Okay, but anyway. Or you go here. Wait, Okay, what you can do is, yeah. You can go to this channel. This one's basically for postgraduate, but anyway, if like you guys want, you just look at the how to do a CVS examination. They have lots of things here. Okay, neurological here. At least this one, this channel is a bit more reliable. Development is here, right? You just what you can just watch the videos here, lah. Right? Okay, you can watch some of the videos here. At least the one that's here is quite reliable, lah. Right? You can use it for other things also. Okay. Whenever you look for videos on YouTube, make sure that one is from a university. Number two, it's not too old. Okay. If you're watching something that's too old, like from 9 years ago, especially in relation to procedures, okay, you might get into a bit of trouble, lah. Okay. But things like physical examination, then those are quite okay, lah, even if it's old. But things that involve procedures, how to do things, don't look at videos that are too old. Especially, I think you guys got the procedure seminar, right? Right. Don't look for videos that are too old. Okay, so that's all. Anything? Nothing, then bye-bye.
Doctor.
Okay.
Just now about the corrected age, you mentioned about we consider up until 2 years. So is it 2 years corrected or 2 years chronology?
2 years corrected.
Right.
Bye.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you, man.
Thank you, Doctor.
Mantap, man.
Thank you, Doctor. Main game lah.
Kejut Hakim. Kejut ada game ni.
Tak buka kamera.
Gerak tu, berok tu.
Dah dah. Sakit ke berak?
Mari bagi tadi tubik dah aku.
Allah.
Sikit lah, Biga. Capur dia tubik cair. Berok dah.